2 very young children, and I don't want to die before they grow up.
The numbers don't stack up all that well for me, sitting in a room with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Around the world, there are people who believe they know the secret to living to an extraordinary age.
I have lived well over 100 years, never been sick a day in my life.
Right now, my focus is 150.
I'm still a little boy. I've got a long time to go.
And the key could be my favourite subject, food.
I eat everything raw, all the organs, all the meat.
Shall I eat some hard?
But can I stomach it? And is there really any science behind these diets?
People talk about fecal transplant.
A fecal transplant? Oh, God!
Oh, crikey.
Under expert guidance, I'm going to put myself through 3 very different extreme eating regimes. But can any of the diets make me live longer?
It's lower. It's lower. That's what we want.
This was my father's favourite fish and chip shop in the world.
Hi there, how are you? Very good. Have you got any haddock?
The best nights of my childhood were the ones when he brought supper home from here.
Hot. Nom, nom.
As it happens, my dad is now buried 300 yards up the road. I think he knew that if he was close to a chip shop, I might come and visit occasionally. In the modern world, people are supposed to be living longer, but my dad is the latest in a long line of Corens, dying younger and younger.
He ate a diet, he didn't eat fruit and vegetables really, he didn't really bother with exercise. He did all the things that we know you're not supposed to do. He did them and he's dead at 69. You know, him being, I would write thinking, well, as long as my dad thinks it's funny, this will be fine. You know, he would phone me up and say, that corn was brilliant. You know, and sort of repeat the jokes to me. I only do it for him, so him being dead is a bit silly. It makes me sad every day that my father never met them. He never met his grandchildren. You want the tea? It's very difficult not to measure your life expectancy on your father. I mean, most people do. It's a significant moment in your life when you pass his age. He died at 69, that's 24 years from now. She'll be 27, he'll be 25. I mean, that isn't enough.
But my father's father, Sam, lived to 76, which is better. And his father, my great-grandpa Harry, lived to 93, which is much more what I'm looking for. I think of myself as being reasonably fit for my age. I don't smoke, I eat green vegetables and fruit, and I do a bit of exercise every week.
I suddenly saw my moves in the mirror I was only worrying about.
Yeah, and then put your shirt off would be easier, because I've got... Or not, okay, alright.
I've come to see GP Justine Setchell. She's putting me through some tests to get a best guess at my current probable lifespan.
No, not bad. Okay, so height and weight gives you a BMI of 25.7. Is the upper end of normal range.
Would you say that I was on the verge of fat then?
A little tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. If we go down to the lipid profile, we like cholesterol to be less than 5, but yours is only just over, so it's a bit like a little bit fat, a little bit high cholesterol, but that your insulin is completely normal and your blood glucose is good as well. So that's good to know that you're not diabetic or pre-diabetic in any way.
What is the life expectancy of a 45-year-old man with this profile in London in 2015?
Well, it should be, the average life expectancy at least is about 80, should be now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
That's right, you're very welcome. Bye-bye.
80. Much better than my dad. Bit better than my grandpa. But not as good as great-grandpa Harry at 93. If I'm going to beat Justine's prediction, I need something to help me live much, much longer. So I'm packed and headed for America, home of the extreme diet. You see, there have been experiments on mice that show if you keep them on a semi-starvation diet, they live up to 40% longer. And many people think it could work for humans too. It's thought up to 1 million Americans have turned to the calorie restriction diet in the hope of breaking the age barrier. And I've decided to join them. I'm on day 1 of the diet, which is not for the weak-willed. You're denied 1/3 of your normal calories, which tricks your body into starvation mode. And it's not just for today or tomorrow, it's for the rest of your life. Paul McLaughlin and Meredith Averill are calorie-restricting superstars.
I have to admit to planning my 125th birthday for absolutely decades now.
They claim to have 100,000 followers worldwide, and Paul is now a healthy aging advisor at a top scientific institute. I'm on my way to meet the couple at their home in upstate New York. I've already been calorie restricting for 2 days. I'm starving, and I'm hoping I've arrived in time for breakfast.
Hello? Hello. I thought you were going to not let me in.
No, sorry, I was upstairs. Welcome.
Paul and Meredith, now in their mid-60s, have been calorie restricting for over 20 years.
The thing I obviously know about calorie restriction is it's not just having a 2/3 of a Big Mac. It's about making the most, isn't it, of the calories that you do have.
That's right.
Are we having breakfast?
Yes.
But it's not going to be bacon and eggs with coffee and cigarettes, is it?
No,
Let's face it.
we wouldn't offer that because that's not the CR way at all.
No.
As a man on the calorie restriction diet, you're limited to around 1,800 calories a day. But Paul's meals are so low calorie, he doesn't even bother counting them anymore.
This is going to take about 20 minutes.
Right.
Because whole barley is tough.
His biggest worry is how much a meal will raise his glucose levels.
Do you want to take your blood glucose?
Okay.
Are you up for that? I'm not going to hurt you. Okay, are you okay?
Sort of.
Paul believes that high blood sugar damages the cells in your body and dramatically speeds up the aging process.
And what should my reading be? What's a good blood reading?
70s to 80s. Okay, you're at 98. We've got to work on that. But if you can get your glucose into the 80s, 70s, 60s, or 50s, some extraordinary things will begin to happen. Some really extraordinary things.
Breakfast began with an appetizer of punitively coarse wheat-free bread. And instead of spreading butter, they used lemon juice.
This kind of sweetens it, and you might not think so, but it does.
The rest of us, of course, we think of it as a sour thing.
Yes, I suppose.
All very well, but how exactly will calorie restriction extend my life?
The basic principle is to activate longevity biochemistry, is to make the body shift away from growth to cell maintenance. You have only so many adult stem cells in your body to repair your tissues. And when you eat a lot of calories, you're spending your stem cells very fast. If you use those up because you're pumping a lot of energy into your body, you won't have them anymore.
Well, I finished. You haven't. But it's delicious.
Slow.
Paul and Meredith's quest to restrict calories whilst maximising each meal's nutritional content has led them to devise some bizarre combinations.
I'm leaving the actual onions behind because I don't think of onions going very well with strawberries and blueberries and things.
I don't know how wild you really want to get. One of the things that we would do is cut a whole lemon into this.
A whole lemon and then eat the peel and everything?
And eat the peel and
No, you
everything.
don't eat the peel.
Yes, we do.
You don't eat the peel?
Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
What do you mean I don't?
Well, let's have one then. I'll eat a lemon then. You're going to eat a lemon with the peel?
I think it really makes it wonderfully distinctive.
Okay. It's quite unusual. That's like chewing the head off a bottle of furniture polish.
And the purpose of what we're doing here is not to show you that we have the greatest recipes on earth.
No.
It's to give you the principles of what is behind this.
30 minutes after my meal, Paul wanted to know how much it had raised my blood glucose.
What they do now.
And what would you expect it to do?
It's lower. It's lower. Yes. Yes. It's 85. It went from 98 to 85. That's what we want.
I was about to find out that calorie restriction is much more than just a diet. It's a whole way of life. Eating so few calories comes with its downsides.
So, very nice to be walking with you.
I can sort of say the same. It's like walking on the moon. No, it's the opposite of walking on the moon.
Yeah.
It's like walking on Mars.
Oh, no, I think maybe like Saturn or Jupiter.
The 15-kilogram body vest certainly made me feel weighed down.
So why are we wearing these things?
The reason why we're wearing these things is because we're tricking our body. We're tricking our body to make our bones think that they need to support a heavier structure.
We're fooling our bodies into thinking that we are fat.
Yes. Yes.
Why is that good for them?
Because when you get thin, bones get thinner too. And you don't want bones to get thinner. You want them to stay dense and strong throughout life.
And how long, if I pursue your calorie restriction, how long can I hope to live for, do you think?
Well, I think you would extend your life about 15 to 20 years longer than it would have been.
What about you and Meredith? What about
We don't want to have any limits right now. I've never wanted to part with anything. I'm not willing to accept that my eyesight is going to get worse. I'm not willing to accept that my brain is going to get worse. I'm not willing to accept a wrinkle here if I can figure out some way to stop it.
But isn't that part of the human condition, is decay?
But why?
Because man has an allotted span on Earth.
Aren't you special? Is there a time when that specialness should end? It should just become dust? I haven't come to accept that. I'm still a little boy. I've got a long time to go. I want to grow up to be an adult someday.
What about your other bits and pieces? Can they all be made to keep on working into old age?
The other bits and pieces all work quite well.
Yeah, I mean, fine, I'm just asking.
In their bid to restrict calories, Paul and Meredith eat nothing after lunch. It was going to be my last meal for about 20 hours, so they took me to their favourite restaurant.
One Brussels sprout, please.
We were joined by a couple of their friends, including fellow calorie restrictor Mark Gardner.
How long are you hoping to live?
Well, randomly, if aging stopped, mathematically, we'll all die before we're 800 years old because of some accident.
800
years old. So I haven't put a number out there. So
you don't really think you could live to 800?
Right now, my focus is 150.
So I can see why you'd want to restrict calories and maybe live to 95 instead of 75. But to push on to the sort of 150, there's not going to be room for all the young 95-year-olds to do their thing.
That's why we have Mars.
Oh, right.
Living by Paul and Meredith's rules, which they call the CR way, was going to be hard, and without dinner to look forward to, I was feeling at a bit of a loss.
So what do I do tonight? I just go to bed early when the sun goes down because there's nothing else to do. And I listen to the owls tweeting and my stomach rumbling, and I wait for tomorrow to come. And it's going to feel like I've lived 140 years already.
Back at my B&B, I retired for the night with some light reading, hoping that it would send me to sleep. I've just been awake for about an hour. It's 4 in the morning. It's cold in this whole house, and I just pulled an extra duvet on, and I'm achy and shivery and starving hungry. I've had nothing to eat since lunch 15 hours ago, which was just sort of vegan. I had 2 platefuls, but it was all just chickpeas, and I was all, the fattiest thing I had was a bit of avocado, and before that the barley with onions and fruit in it, and I'm just absolutely starving. My stomach is growling. I just had a weird midnight poo, and I have nothing to look forward to except breakfast in 4 hours of a bowl of lukewarm barley and onions. I just feel sad. The next morning, I caught up with my doctor, Justine. Hey Justine, it's me, Giles.
Hello.
This is exciting. This is probably how Tinder works. I wanted to hear what she had to say about the diet.
What's your calorie intake?
Well, the principle is that the calorie intake is 1,800 calories a day, but I think yesterday I had about 1,200.
Oh, crikey. Because someone of your height and weight and age should be having about 2,500 calories.
Well, they would recommend that I was having 1,800. They reduce it by a third. The reason that I yesterday only had 1,200 was because that was as much of their minging food as I could eat. What I didn't know is they don't have dinner, so they fast, and they fast for about 18 hours of the day between lunch and breakfast the next day.
We all fast overnight, normally, and break fast in the morning, so that's obviously normal. They're just extending that, and they're extending it, quite a long way, but it won't do any harm.
Do you think it will do me any good?
We in the West have very much become grazers. So people are never very far away from food, and they are constantly, every few hours, they're eating something. And I think the idea is that if you take bigger breaks, then it gives your body more of a chance to rest and repair, rather than having to concentrate on metabolizing food all the time.
Which might keep you younger and live longer.
Yes, allegedly.
Cheers.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I returned to Paul and Meredith's for breakfast, prepared to eat anything they had on offer.
Good morning, Giles.
How are you? But instead, Paul had a strategy to help me deal with my hunger pangs.
We actually have a food meditation that we do. It's called savoring meditation. And so we might have some blueberries and walnuts, but they would be just imaginary. And we might imagine those and how they might taste. Just from the skin of the blueberry to the inside to how it tastes when you would bite into it. One imaginary meal with one blueberry. When you're ready, if you could just open your eyes, and thank you for taking the time for yourself to do this. Thank you. Good.
Paul wanted to push on with teaching me the principles of the CR way. My next lesson was in fermented pickles.
Sauerkraut for breakfast. I like sauerkraut.
For Paul, these pickles are a superfood. They're full of bacteria that he's convinced are good for the gut in a life-extending way.
In something like this, there are about 600 beneficial microbes.
In England, people buy these fermented yogurty health drink things that they drink every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's meant to encourage fauna in the stomach. Is that the same principle?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Paul refers to the bacteria that live in his digestive system as his microbiome. It's a word I've never come across before.
Many people call the microbiome the newly discovered organ in the body.
How is it part of the COA? This is to do with longevity. This is another facet of living longer, is it?
Bad microbes are associated with many different cancers. They're associated with diabetes. They're associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. They're associated with obesity. So By changing your microbiome and tilting it towards the good bacteria, people may avoid many diseases. If you do calorie restriction without optimizing your microbiome, it is like building a house without a foundation, and it's very likely to fall down at any moment.
Before I headed off for the day, there was one important thing I had to do.
That was a poo unlike any I've ever done. I said I didn't think it was going to come. And then it was sort of like a very warm worm climbing out of my intestine, sort of endlessly. It was just kind of, and it just sort of came and came and came. It's just left me feeling elated.
I headed back to my B&B feeling buoyed up about the diet. But my elation didn't last long.
I'm feeling quite stiff. I don't know whether that's from walking in my massive weight jacket or whether that's just there wasn't any animal fat in me at all, oiling the bones and making everything feel nice. I miss my family. Theoretically, I'm doing this for them because I want to live longer so that I can be with my children, but it seems to be counterproductive to be going to sleep alone, starving on a hillside far from home. I'm basically going to go to sleep now and hope that it all goes away. I feel very lonely, very hungry.
I'd been intrigued by all Paul's talk about the microbiome, but I wondered if there might be a shortcut to optimizing the beneficial bacteria in my gut. I'd heard about a New York doctor who takes a more radical approach than simply eating some pickles.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'm Dr. Ornetto. Giles.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Marvelous.
I was here to meet top gastroenterologist Dr. Caterina Ornetto to find out more.
The most significant way to change somebody's microbiome is to replace that microbiome. People talk about fecal transplant. This is a transfer of a person's whole microbiome from a healthy donor into a patient.
A fecal transplant.
A fecal transplant.
A poo transplant.
A poo transplant, yes, that's correct.
And Caterina was about to show me exactly how to do it.
This is guaranteed poo proof, is it?
Not 100%.
It's going to smell.
Oh, right. Oh, God.
Oh,
right.
God. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd.
So what we do...
Make that lid's on really tight, is it? So who ordered the chocolate?
The blended mixture goes into a giant syringe ready to be administered.
And they put the orange bit in the bum?
Yes.
Would they do it themselves or they have a friend do it? Or
the vast majority of patients, unless they're children, do it themselves.
are people doing this who aren't really ill with any diagnosable disease, but they just think they can improve their metabolism?
I would say very rarely, but I do see a future in that department. It's their own decision in a sense, and they're going to do it anyway, so I would much rather have them do it in a safe way and make sure they don't contract another problem by doing it.
She's amazing. She's so glamorous. She's this amazing, sort of beautiful Italian woman with her beautiful makeup and clothes, just getting busy with the poo blender. It's really odd. I mean, I'm glad we filmed it, because no one would believe you if you just told them.
There was just time for a quick lunch before heading back, so I went to a vegan restaurant called Angelica Kitchen that Paul had recommended to me.
May I have the 3-bean chili? Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers.
It was time for a quick blood glucose measurement.
Let's come on, 83 is low. That is low. Thank you.
But the real test is 30 minutes later.
My blood sugar has gone up to 117.
I knew the meal would raise my blood glucose levels, but I wasn't sure if 117 was good or bad. I was coming to the end of my week on the calorie restriction diet, and there was lots I wanted to discuss.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hi guys, how are you?
Very well.
And
Yes,
I'm back for my final visit. How have you been?
I've been very well. And by the way, you look very good. You look like you feel very good. I hope that's right.
Yes, no, I probably do feel quite good. So when I was in Manhattan, I went to see this gastroenterologist who was as interested in the microbiome as you are. And also she does this fecal transplant. I know on your website it's a thing you suggest is worth looking into. Is it something you do yourself?
No, it's not something that we do ourselves or something that we need.
Has it occurred to you ever to offer yourself as a donor?
I'm just so busy that doing that is beyond what I can do. I think Meredith is a candidate if she had time.
Angelica's was lovely.
Good.
I did my blood test before, so it was 83 before.
Congratulations.
Well, thanks. I thought Paul and Meredith would be pleased with me. I ate the meal, then I waited and did it again, and it had gone up a bit, but it's only 117.
We have a kind of a rule, and this is a rule of thumb. We try to have meals that keep it within a range of 20.
Right.
I think your glucose control, though, for what I would say is a beginner, someone newly introduced to this, is rather fantastic. It's nice that we have television here, because it would be great if they could do a close-up of your skin. Because the difference between when I saw you on the first day and today, may I suggest that your skin it just looks rosy and healthy today.
He's flattering me.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling
He's
you.
reporting to you.
So, you're asking us all kinds of questions about how long we want to live. How about better looking skin and eyes today?
Yeah, no, that's
I want results today.
right. What a shame to leave this lovely place.
It's nice to spend time with you. It was a great pleasure.
Cheerio. Bye-bye, Chance.
Bye-bye.
So my thoughts on calorie restriction after nearly a week of living the CR way, more or less in the manner of Paul and Meredith, is that, look, I feel good. I've lost a few pounds. I'm kind of firm and hard. I've lost it in the right places. My gut is working nicely. My poos are lovely. I can take certain things away from calorie restriction. I think the fasting is one of them. It makes me feel good. It's a good way of stopping it. You sleep well. It's a good way of lowering the number of calories you eat, maintaining your weight. The gut flora idea is a good one, and I think that the microbiome should be looked after. I am not having a poo transplant anytime soon. I know that Paul and Meredith say they take a great joy in their food here. I know that they find it delicious, and I know they love doing it. But I couldn't live like that. It isn't a life that I'd want. It was time to say goodbye to calorie restriction and embrace a whole new diet. For the next week, I would be travelling back in time, over 10,000 years, to an era before agriculture. I was going to join the estimated 6 million Americans who live on the paleo diet. It's high in fat, based on meat and vegetables, and cuts out all starchy carbs and dairy. And there was no better place to start than at PrimalCon, a weekend retreat in California.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'm Carla.
I'm Giles.
And nice to meet you.
Hi, Emma.
Nice to meet you.
The first people I bumped into were sisters who'd flown all the way from Australia to blog about the event.
Paleo changed my life.
What were your lives like before?
I was sick with gluten intolerance, and I looked like pregnant every day. Yeah, and I was like, this ain't right. I'm not meant to feel like this. We had so much more energy. Yeah. That was the most amazing thing.
The idea is that it's Stone Age. It's what do you have for breakfast?
Yeah. So for breakfast, we'll have like eggs, like scrambled eggs, like sauteed greens. Yeah, avocado. We add avocado just like every meal. Yeah, avocado. Oh, I love avocado. Yeah, the funniest thing is like people are like, but what about cereal and what about toast? And it's like we've got to lose that concept of like that you have to eat bread, that you have to eat toast and you have to eat cereal for breakfast because like Who said that you have to eat that for breakfast?
This looks like it's an exercise morning.
I know. Yeah, we're very excited about this.
Equipment, you guys can head on over.
I think probably not advanced.
I'm always slightly uncomfortable at the thought of group exercise, but to work up an appetite, I decided to have a crack at the sledgehammer workout.
Dig and toss. Things people have been doing since before Homo sapiens, so again, I don't really need to tell you a whole lot about the technique, because you'll feel it.
I could smell meat cooking from a mile away, and after a week on lukewarm barley, I was ready for about 100 burgers.
This is my first paleo meal.
Okay.
I mean, what am I going to be? What's the principle? What's the first principle of paleo eating?
Lots of things that are natural. Fruits, vegetables, good protein. Anything that's not processed, basically. I don't eat grains. I don't eat dairy.
So grains, that's like wheat and barley and oats,
Corn, rice,
corn, none of those things. Why not?
Right. I feel lethargic if I eat a lot of those things. It seems to weigh me down.
I don't think cavemen had tomatoes, I've got to be honest.
The idea is that our bodies aren't equipped to handle certain foods that have only been in our diet for a few thousand years. This includes all grains, beans and pulses, and even dairy. So essentially, I'm left with some meat, a bit of salad, and a handful of nuts.
That's a nice paleo plate right there.
Before I'd even had the chance to sit down, Brad, a former triathlete and one of the organisers of PrimalCon, came over to talk to me.
It's not a regimen, you know? You don't have to mark it down how many things you ate and how many calories. It's just, you know, reprogramming. The body's great at healing and regenerating. So even if you've had a tough time in your first few decades with poor eating habits and we were raised on these bad foods and all that, these people turn around and they look better and feel better. I mean, I say I feel better now at 50 than I did at 30 by leaps and bounds.
And then they're all planning to live a bit longer, are they, do you think? Is longevity one
I'm
of the
planning to
things?
live to 1, 2, 3. That's my
Are you?
motto. 1, 2, 3. Why is 80 an impressive life expectancy statistic? You know, if I don't introduce any aging accelerating factors like too much exercise, pro-inflammatory foods, and I have good luck and I don't text while I'm driving, I expect to live way past 100. I'll be okay with 123.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't convinced that the meal I'd just eaten could help me live that long. It seemed very fatty.
That didn't feel like a healthy meal. Delicious in a way. Lots and lots of nuts. I like macadamia nuts. That was all very, very salty. I feel a bit dehydrated, a bit desiccated. My mouth feels a bit... Didn't feel healthy. And I feel like I'm going to do really solid black poos. From a lifestyle point of view, they've got the right idea. We're in a beautiful park by the beach with palm trees, a lovely fresh breeze. Everyone's running around getting exercise and eating burgers, you know, which strikes me as a more fun way to get to 123 than living indoors in a longevity centre, eating pulses.
So, would PrimalCon's enigmatic leader be able to convince me that fat is good? Mark Sisson, a leading voice on evolutionary health, claims the paleo diet has completely transformed his metabolism.
I get a lot of my energy, and I know you do too, through day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour, from stored body fat or from dietary fat. And having done that long enough, I have turned myself into a fat-burning beast. My dream for you guys is to be able to make that choice in such a way that you embrace it and you say, I made this choice, I feel good about it, I feel great. It's that powerful. Right now, am I happy that it's a few million people? Absolutely. Do I wish we could add a zero to that? Absolutely.
Mark Sisson believes that despite its high fat content, the paleo diet could help him live to 120. I needed to meet him, but I'd have to wait until the morning.
I mean, these paleo guys, I don't know. It has a strange... It has a strange evangelical element to it, and very charismatic, the leader, Mark. But they make they have these delusions. You know, he's in great shape, but his literature says 6 years old, looks 30, feels like an 18-year-old when he plays ultimate frisbee. Well, he doesn't look 30, because I'm 45, and he looks like he could be my dad.
The next morning, I arranged to meet the man himself at the hotel jacuzzi. I felt a bit embarrassed about having to show my love handles.
I didn't really want to take my top off in front of you. Oh, Jesus. You're going to have to if we're going to get into jacuzzi. Yeah, no.
Most people believe eating fat is bad for their health, but Mark certainly looked good on it.
It's great because it's a lot of the foods that most people assume they can't eat. So we eat meat, fish, fowl, eggs, whole eggs, not egg whites, nuts, seeds. We derive a lot of our energy from fat. And then there's an additional fuel called ketones, which is sort of a byproduct of fat metabolism. And we can train our bodies and our brains to effectively run on ketones and reduce our dependence on a fresh supply of glucose every couple of hours.
What Mark is saying is that your body doesn't have to run on carbohydrates. There's an alternative energy source called ketones, which are derived from the breakdown of fat.
It's the dream of all dieters, and it's the main principle of being primal, which is I'm a fat-burning beast. I've trained my body how to access my stored body fat so that when I don't eat by choice, because I'm skipping a meal on purpose, no problem. My brain doesn't suffer, I don't get moody or depressed or lightheaded, because my brain has now literally built the metabolic machinery to be able to use this amazing extra fuel that we call ketones.
So you're using these terms like train my body, and my body's learned, my brain's learned. So you can do this, but I probably can't. Why is that?
You absolutely can do that. Your body is fully equipped to become a fat-burning beast. You just have to stop giving it the signals that sugar is going to be present every meal.
I now had a new aim in life, to become a fat-burning beast. But I still had to take part in a final, slightly dubious activity.
You want to see Giles push a car? Yeah!
Okay, so push here. Right, come on, push me. Come on, Giles, push. Push. 3, 2, and 1. It goes for sprint back. Stand this way.
There's a very large extent to which this caveman thing is a massive pile of arse. I mean, it's a lot of people going, yeah, woo, hoo, ha, because they pushed a car, which anybody who owns a 10-year-old car on a foggy morning in London has to do anyway. You know, smoking a fag, push the car. I mean, it's not, as you saw, it's not exactly difficult to do.
Yeah.
He's actually one of the articulate ones. I need to hide from this now. I really don't want to go and do the play fight.
Back in the safety of my cave, I called up Justine, my doctor.
Oh, there we go.
I wondered what she had to say about the paleo diet.
Anything that cuts out entire food groups doesn't sit well with me. I mean, I agree with them. I think we do in the Western world eat far too much refined carbohydrate, and I don't think we are necessarily adapted to eat that much. So obviously, you know, this is what you're exploring. These people have quite extreme views. But if you do eat huge amounts of meat, you're really raising your bad cholesterol and changing the proportion of good to bad cholesterol, and then increasing the risk of atherosclerosis.
I have to say, having met 100 odd of them at Primal Con, they are not fat. They are all in great shape. They all have zero body fat from this diet. So is it possible that they all have zero body fat and are really lean and sort of athletic, but have high cholesterol?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's why you hear of, you know, very fit, you know, 40, 50-somethings, you know, out running and drop dead of a heart attack. You know, they're slim on the outside and fat on the inside. So it's still possible. And, you know, particularly if they had, for instance, a family history, strong family history of heart disease.
Thanks very much. See you soon.
Bye.
I had not eaten a simple, refined white carbohydrate now for nearly 2 weeks, not so much as a jam sandwich. I was well into my paleo diet and despite the risks, I was beginning to feel rather good on it.
Do you do a zero-carb burger? Can I get a double burger with no bun?
You want 2 pieces of meat, right?
That's basically it, 2 pieces of meat.
Alright.
Wait, does anyone ever ask you before just to have the meat and no bun?
Yes, sir. And we also get people that want the bun and no meat.
Do you?
So we get both of them.
Oh, wow. Which ones look healthier, the ones who have the meat or the ones who have the bun?
Probably the one with the meat is better. Because the carbs not good with bread. You don't need bread.
Exactly, that's my reason. I'm paleo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a blessed
Cheers.
afternoon. Y'all be careful.
You too. Is she down with the paleo? Yeah, I've used the 2 burgers as a bun so that I can eat it in one hand. This is what a paleo burger would be if they serve paleo burgers. It's kind of like holding hands with a very old person who's been out in the sun too long. But that's my protein and fat. I genuinely think I'm living off ketos now. I genuinely believe I'm a fat-burning beast. I mean, I'm full of energy, really. Long drive, not feeling sleepy. And this is disgusting to eat, but you know, quite often, Paleolithic man, he was eating sort of rotten bits of carrion that he found on a dead tiger somewhere. It would have tasted much like this. I'm a fat-burning beast. I live on ketos. I'm like that guy over there, who was just a fat beast.
I'd been on the road for a couple of days, and all because I'd heard about a man living in Kentucky who claims to practice the paleo diet in its purest imaginable form.
Right. Hey, Derek.
Hey, Giles.
All right, how are you?
Doing good.
Right. So you've got a whole farm in your backyard?
Yeah, it's a mini farm. I have 5 chickens, 6 rabbits, and I have a lamb that's ready to butcher.
Wow, and you're allowed to kill the animals in your backyard?
Well, I never asked for permission.
You haven't asked for permission?
No, this is one thing about being in America. You know, you really don't have to ask permission unless somebody complains.
Derek Nance turned to the diet after being diagnosed with chronic fatigue.
Well, this is probably the more extreme of the paleo diets, the raw paleo diet, where
This is a raw paleo diet?
Yeah, this is raw foods. I eat everything raw. All the organs, all the meat. Let's go closer to it.
I totally think if you eat meat, then you've got to be prepared to kill it. But it's all been theoretical for me up to now.
A sheep like this will feed Derek for weeks. He kills one every month, and he told me he does it in what he believes is the most humane way possible. But I still wasn't sure how I'd feel, seeing my dinner die in front of me.
Yeah, you got my knife. We about ready?
I found a sort of a strange compulsion to say a prayer.
Really, there's no good way to do it. I mean, you're killing an animal, and you can sugarcoat it, and you can put it behind closed doors. It's still killing.
The blood's already congealing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Turned into a sort of jelly already. Wow, it's already.
Yeah, it's thick.
And does that taste good?
It has almost like a salt, oceany taste to it. I mean, it's real good. I'll probably drink a whole cup today and then save the rest to drink throughout the week.
Derek doesn't waste any part of the animal. He eats the whole thing, nose to tail.
Generations ago, they didn't throw any of the organs away.
Yeah.
They ate them all. Tongue, tongue was a delicacy. I like it.
And will you eat the tongue?
Yeah.
And the head? Will you eat the eyes?
Yeah, the eyes. Oh, the eyes are good. I'll probably have those for dinner tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Derek set to work butchering the carcass, a truly surreal thing to witness in a suburban garden.
Really good. It's gonna fall. See this stuff right here? This is belly fat, and I eat it raw. This is the part that most people throw out, but I think is one of the most nutritious parts of the animal. It's good.
What's that?
It's the adrenal gland.
Oh yeah, that's good, is it?
Yeah, that's a good part. You know, basically the body of this animal has everything that my body needs as long as I consume the whole animal.
I know that organ meat is incredibly nutritious, but I probably don't eat as much of it as I should.
I eat liver quite rare. Maybe I could eat some raw liver.
Yeah, it's good. It's real mild, real sweet.
Can I have some? A sliver of liver. Cheers. It's kind of chocolatey, isn't it? It's kind of chocolatey and warm, obviously, because it's recently been doing the job of a liver.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta start cutting away at this beast. I got the heart. And you see the heart's completely encased in fat. Because fat is actually the preferred fuel for our organs.
Do you know the phrase fat-burning beast?
Yeah. And I've studied the science and how it takes about 3 weeks or so for your body to transition into fat-burning metabolism, a ketogenic metabolism, where you can run off of ketones.
And do you run off of ketones?
Primarily.
So what do you think about people who think that they should eat a low-fat diet or getting fat?
It's almost literally impossible to put fat on if you're just running off of, fat. Yeah.
I think that's just a fascinating and amazing and honest and true experience. If you look at the carcass hanging there, looks like it's been done by an animal. It's been done by a caveman with flints. He's an extraordinarily straightforward, honest guy. And I wouldn't want him taking the dinner party around mine.
We were joined for dinner by Derek's girlfriend and his father, both of whom chose to stick to salad.
Ready to eat?
Yep.
Yep. And
Okay, great. Well, so
Okay,
that's going to be kidney fat, isn't it?
yeah, this is kidney fat, and then this is a slice of kidney, and a little slice of liver, heart, and then one piece of spleen.
Shall I eat some heart?
Yeah, the heart. It's a good introduction.
He doesn't put any fat on.
I mean, absolutely no disrespect to it. Obviously, for me, it's quite challenging. It's like not to, in any way, insult the lifestyle. I think it's brilliant, but for me, it's a bit of a threshold to cross.
You're right in line with most people. How many years it's been? 6 years. He looks great. He's healthier than he's ever been. I don't understand it.
But eating so much fat, I couldn't believe Derek's cholesterol wasn't dangerously high.
But you don't know you haven't had your blood tests. You don't know about what your cholesterol's like on this diet.
Oh, yeah, I do. Last year, I paid for probably about $2,000 worth of extensive lab testing.
And what did it show?
It showed everything was well within perfectly normal ranges. I mean, everything across the board. They couldn't find anything wrong whatsoever.
Thank you very much, and stay healthy.
Yeah.
Cheers, Derek. Bye.
I still had the words of my doctor ringing in my ears. I already knew that my cholesterol was a little bit high, and I didn't want to risk becoming thin on the outside, fat on the inside. Derek had convinced me that I really should eat more organ meat. But if I was ever going to become a fat-burning beast for any length of time, I'd probably want to do it under serious medical supervision. I wouldn't want the paleo diet to actually shorten my life, rather than extend it. It was time to try a completely different tack. We're always told to eat more fruit, but for some people, it's apparently all they eat. They're called fruitarians. I never really believed they existed. So when I discovered that some were planning a gathering, I decided to gate crash.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
All right, how are you?
Good, I'm Robbie.
Hi.
Nice
Hi.
to meet you.
Are you the leader?
Well, I'm one of the co-organizers. We got lots of good fruit for you to try. Yeah.
I hope so, because I had only some berries for breakfast,
Okay,
and I don't know how you do this
if you
thing.
come
But
hungry, that's the best way to come.
can I have some of that?
Yes, of course. That's a jackfruit.
Wow.
Juicy Fruit Gums stole their flavor from that.
Really?
Yes. Well, we're just going to keep on moving into these fruits here. You ready for the next one?
That was a mangosteen?
That was a mangosteen. That's the queen of fruits.
Actually, the skin of that is not good, I might tell you. Can you spare a bit of coconut?
Of course, go.
Are you a fruitarian?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's what my parents told me. We met at like one of these. I met at like
And this is called a fruit swap.
a fruit luck.
A fruit luck.
Like a potluck, but with fruit. These people are like our family. Like, yeah, Angie here is like our fruit mom.
Being one big happy fruit family is all very nice. But where do they get their protein? Where do they get their iron?
There's a lot of different interpretations for fruitarians. Anything that has a seed is a fruit. A zucchini, a tomato is technically a fruit. Culinarily, it's a vegetable.
Yeah.
Botanically, it's a fruit.
Where do you get protein from on a
So fruit has about 5 to 6% of calories from protein. If you follow a whole food fruit-based diet, you will inevitably end up with at least 6% of calories from protein, and that's
Right.
more than enough.
Why did you choose fruitarian?
You know, I kind of started off with a juice cleanse, and
So this is basically a cleanse and a detox and a...
living a lifestyle of always cleansing. I've only been doing this for about 2 years, so it has been a challenge dealing with the social part of it because it's still very taboo to a lot of people.
The final fruit they wanted me to try was durian. It's known as the king of fruit.
There it is.
It smells terrible and has a reputation for inducing a drug-like high.
My mom, if I bring this in the house, she will not talk to me. She'll lock herself in her room and she will
How'd you take... Oh, that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like custody banana and feet, isn't it?
The texture is amazing.
Nice to see. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, good. Yeah, they told you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I mean, I'm walking around high. I'm just used to it, and I don't want to say it. I don't want to sound like
What's it you want to sound like?
like a drug addict or something. But I'm high. It's different from most fruits, and it has tryptophan. And tryptophan turns into serotonin, which makes you feel good. And so the carbs push the other amino acids out of the way, absorb the tryptophan, and then things start glowing, man. You start like feeling like you're floating. It's intense. Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if I can get a kind of high myself.
Yeah, go ahead and just smell. Look at I have an
That tastes a lot of anus.
It's not your thing. But
Of red banana. It smells gooey as well. Nick, what is it about interesting fruit that it's always
I
got a...
think you're just not used to eating it.
That's good.
Okay.
That's
There
a
you
delicious banana.
go.
And what about that?
The thing is,
What's
there's
that?
a never-ending amount of fruits, so you just gotta find the ones that you like.
The only thing that I can see that's remotely healthy in this diet is we should all eat a bit more fruit. There's no evidence of anyone living to a ripe old age here, but they're all sort of young. They don't talk about the science so much as those slightly boring middle-aged paleo men and calorie restrictors have all got their body of science. This lot don't talk about it in the same way. But they're mostly kids. They're mostly children in the park eating fruit. Hey, wouldn't it be funny if we all just ate fruit? I remember I've seen people have diets where you only eat white food. People, for weeks you just eat fish and cauliflower, and you'll read about it in Sunday supplements. It's that whack. If I was going to adopt a diet I had severe doubts about, I wanted to know what my doctor's thoughts were.
Well, the most important thing is that they're not getting any vitamin B12, so it could end up with a very serious anemia and neurological side effects. They're cutting out whole food groups. There's no balance in their diet. Huge amounts of sugar. I mean, I can't imagine that they won't end up with an increased risk of diabetes if they're eating that much sugar.
What about the risk of, I've had about 8 bananas a day, because it's the only fruit that I can get, which makes me even remotely feel like I'm eating. Can't I get potassium poisoning or something from that?
Yes, you really can. You can get cardiac arrhythmias, so your heart rate can go in a funny rhythm if you have enough potassium.
How many bananas put me at risk?
We wouldn't normally recommend more than 1 or 2 a day.
So you wouldn't recommend it as a longevity diet? I
certainly wouldn't. It's completely imbalanced, and I don't think it's sustainable for any length of time.
Great. Over the past couple of weeks, I'd heard a lot about living to a ripe old age, but I hadn't yet met anyone much over 65. I wanted living proof that any of these diets actually worked. What do the world's oldest people actually eat? It was time to find out. Here, in Phoenix, Arizona, there's a man who has lived an extraordinarily long time.
Hi, Fernando.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, I'm Giles.
Giles? I have lived well over 100 years, never been sick a day in my life. Do you see any wrinkles on me anywhere?
I don't.
Well, all right. You see any wrinkles?
I don't, it's a fine thing.
Fernando Lapallo is one of the oldest people in the world. He's said to be 113, and puts it mostly down to his diet.
So what's the secret of living for a long time?
I'll give it to you at the very beginning. Obedience and moderation. That's the answer.
When you talk about moderation and food, is it also a question of quantity? Do you not eat very much food?
I don't eat much. People down in the dining room say, how do you live? You eat fish? You eat vegetables? That's all?
So if you don't eat very much, would you say that you follow a calorie restriction?
That's right. Yes, I do. That's exactly right. Because I live on fruit, fish, and vegetables. I don't eat meat. I'll have lamb maybe once, maybe twice in a whole year. But that's what I've been living on until today.
Have you never smoked a cigarette?
Never in my life.
And you never had a drink?
I don't. You mean alcohol? No. If you want to drink whiskey, smoke cigarettes, have 40 women, that won't work.
What age does your desire for sex drop?
I don't know. I haven't lived that long yet. Let me show you something. Come here a minute. That's orange juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's a banana, some strawberries. I do this every day. I've been eating this since I was a kid. Okay, here is the key to it. This is called superfood. It has every nutrient that the body needs. Okie dokie. Now, 1, 2. Taste this.
Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Cheers is right. Go ahead, taste it first before you poison it, because I had mine.
It's wonderful.
Well, it tastes good, right?
Tastes very good. So if I drink this every day, I might live to 113?
I don't know about that, but you will never gain weight.
Really?
Fernando still walks a mile every day before breakfast.
You come here. You see that? You see this?
Yeah.
It's raining, it's snowing outside. I just get up. You understand? And I do that a half hour. Won't get on this a half hour. When you can get up in the morning at 100 and do this. That's no good. Right?
Yeah.
But when you can get out and run, just keep doing it and stop. You understand? Health is the number one. I see these people up here, they can't even get a spoon of soup to their mouth. And I look at them, I sit at the table, I said, my God, how old are you? 89. Spilling soup all over everything, or food. And I try to embarrass them out of me and hold it there for a while.
Is there anything bad about living so long? Is there anything sad?
No. The only thing sad about it is that you're sorry you didn't take care of yourself better.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Been amazing.
I hope
Amazing.
you had a successful trip back home.
You know, I think that is what I want. I think that's the thing that I've finally seen. That is a guy who is 113, probably 113, and he's really just saying moderation. I would call it extreme moderation. It has an element of fruitarianism about it. It's a fruit and vegetable based diet. It has an element of CR about it. He does restrict his calories. He doesn't eat much. It has no paleo at all, really. There is no principle of fat being any good. It's fish, vegetables, fruit. But it's absolutely worked. Now, maybe I would just say 113. I don't need to live that long. He says no alcohol. I say, what about 3 beers a week and knock off 10 years and I'll take 103? What about 2 cheeseburgers a month, knock off another 10 years, 93? I'll take that with a slightly moderate version of his excessive moderation. Basically, Bernardo is everything that I want to be in 70 years' time.
As I packed up and headed home, it was with a vague sense that I'd learned something. There are ways of eating and living that can revolutionize your health and probably lengthen your life. And it should be possible to adopt them without falling for some of the silliness that goes alongside. You have to have goals in life. Mine will be to live to 93. My great-grandfather managed it, so I know the Corens have the genes. They just need a bit of help. In short, don't smoke, barely drink, fast occasionally, and moderate what you eat. For my children's sake, that is the very least I can do.
Tomorrow night, how your sweet tooth might be killing you. BBC One's Telling the Truth About Sugar at 9. And here on BBC Two, our food season continues in the